Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is March 28th, 2023. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup. I didn't even take my tea back out yet. Hold on, let me do that. There we go. Good morning to all of you. Who's here? Nathan's here, Jenny's here, Rebecca's here, and Stacy's here. I hope you are all well. I saw all of you, at least in Dennis is here. I saw all of you, at least in name, during the episode 800 celebration last night. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of it. I hope you had a good time. It went longer than Andrew and I had expected, but not in a bad way. It was a lot of fun for me, and it was nice to do what we did. And for those of you who may not have watched, maybe you are morning people versus evening people, perhaps you live in a different time zone. You can find it on Facebook, YouTube, and I believe Twitch. I don't know how Twitch works as well as I do the other platforms, but you can find the episode 800 rebroadcast. We will be putting it out to the feed with proper intros and outros tomorrow in audio as well. So there we are. Still a little under the weather. We'll likely go back to bed again after this. I did not get up until 6 today. I skipped my morning routine to just try to get more sleep. I'm almost there. I'm just trying to get this thing knocked out. And according to my wearable thing, my Aura, it said, yes, that I did. It says I feel great. It's definitely not picking up on something going on because my nose is stuffy. No worries, Nick says. Good morning to you, Nick. Nick says, sorry I missed. I never want any of you to be sorry that you missed the things that we do. In fact, I've had people come to me and say, I can't keep up with the podcast. I can, between First Cup and all the things that you do, there's a lot, and I'm unable to consume it all. Good. That's the goal. I would much rather that we put out more stuff than you can handle than less stuff. Right? And maybe that's not the best business model, but it's all about value, right? If you've got multiple shows that you can consume, and we've got Marshall Journal and all the things that we put out on social media, the books that we do, you've got choices. And that way you're going to spend the time with the things that mean the most to you. As opposed to, well, Whistlekick isn't putting anything else out. I guess I'll watch or listen to this. Good morning, Gad. My nose is a little runny. Pardon me. How was your Tuesday? Nope, it's Tuesday now. How was your Monday? What did you do? I took many naps. I really did. I took multiple naps, just trying to stay awake for last night. I think I held my own. I think I did okay. A couple points more. My brain didn't quite fire as efficiently as I wanted it to, but we got through it. I think I did all right. Had some client calls yesterday. Had one that we had to push to Wednesday, so that gave me a chance for another nap. And looking at my schedule today, it's not that different. So today was supposed to be a recording-free day, but do you remember, was it last week? 2 weeks ago? When there's a ladybug on the camera. When the power was out and we had to push for recording. So we've got one of them we're making up for today. And other than that, not a whole lot. There's not a lot going on. So it's going to be a light day, which I'm thankful for. And hopefully this is the last day. Hopefully I get this all knocked out. Ladybug on your camera is very distracting, but at least it's keeping me looking at the camera. Man, this one's just cruising. Good morning, Brian, and good morning, John. Nick says, I promoted some of my students to new rank. They all did well on their test 2 weeks ago. Congratulations. Jenny says, Monday was a rest day for me, for sure. And Brian says, So this Monday I was on my first podcast, freaking rocked. Well, thanks for coming on. Yeah, for those of you who did not yet get a chance to watch, you will see that we brought on many members of the team to talk about their involvement in not just martial arts radio, but Whistlekick in general. And it was nice to be able to acknowledge people in that way. What else? You know what I've been rewatching? And I wonder how many of you have seen it recently, because it does hold up, is Friends. The TV show Friends. It's on HBO Max. And it was my favorite show when it was on. And it's such a great show. And one of the things I love about it is that you get so many famous people go through. People that you forget were ever on Friends. You know, Sean Penn, Brad Pitt. Those are the two coming to mind right now. And just watching what I think is some of the best on-screen chemistry of any ensemble show ever. Just they do a great job. Oh, there's another ladybug. Or is it the same one? Nope, same one. It's up in the light now. That's right. Bruce Willis. Good morning, Andy. Yeah, Tom Selleck. I don't know of another show that had that many famous people come through. And Paul Rudd, I think wasn't that one of Paul Rudd's first acting roles? So I'm enjoying rewatching that. What else? What else can I tell you? I don't think there's a lot else to tell you. My bed is very comfortable and it's calling to me. Rebecca says, yesterday I finally was able to put my many
boxes in storage. Now I can use my open space to practice my karate. I'm mega excited. That's great. Later, despite being very sore, I attended both my classes and felt very accomplished. Wow, that's awesome. Remember that your body recovers, your body progresses, it heals, it gets stronger, not from the work, but the recovery from the work. I worked out on Sunday and went kind of hard, actually. If you want to be really nerdy about it, I experimented with a slightly different hand position on my deadlifts, and it was what I was missing. I had a theory. I was like, let me try adjusting this out just a hair, and made a huge difference. So my body is sore in places it's not normally sore. Great. And given that my body is also unwell, the recovery on both, it's taking a little bit of time. Yeah, it says, Paul Rudd in Friends, I think before he started doing the Apatow bromance movies. Yeah. Everybody out there seen Freaks and Geeks? That's a great show. That's a show with a cast. I mean, talk about a cast that all went on to do something. One season, right? It's a great show. Paul Rudd is 60 now? It's incredible. What else can I tell you? I thought about going for a walk yesterday, but the road is so muddy, and sometimes my road gets really muddy. For those of you who don't live on a dirt road, you may not understand what a really soft, squishy dirt road is like in mud season. We are at the height of mud season when it freezes overnight and then it thaws during the day. I've seen sections of it where I step here and this part lifts up. That it's that, which just tells you there's a whole bunch of water underneath. And I just don't feel like dragging that much mud back into the house. Rebecca says, oh my God, is he really 60? The man doesn't age. No, he doesn't. He doesn't age. There's this whole crop of actors roughly in that 60-year-old age, and they don't seem to age. We talked about it yesterday, or I mentioned it yesterday. Keanu Reeves is 59. Doesn't look it. Well, I'm going to flip right into our quotes and see where that takes us. I'm going to go off camera for a minute. Here, I'll just cover my face as I wipe my nose. I'm trying to be polite, I guess, to all of you. Stacey says, how to get a car stuck? Dirt roads and mud season. Yes. Appreciate the Jeep, but not the white color. Yeah. Yeah. The Jeep is constantly filthy. But here's one of the challenges. The Jeep does well in the mud. The Jeep does not do well in the snow because I don't have snow tires on it. So I've got to pick based on the weather what car I'm taking. Is it the Jeep or is it the RAV with actual studded snow tires? And we've got some quotes here, courtesy of Frank. Thank you to Frank and all the work that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for our audio. And we've got quotes here from Anne Frank. Human greatness does not lie in wealth or power, but in character and goodness. People are just people, and all people have faults and shortcomings, but all of us are born with a basic goodness. You know, one of my positions that I think I receive the most pushback on is that almost everyone, darn near everyone, 99.9999% of people take an action. They believe they're doing the right thing. And if that's true, what does that mean? It simply means that we have different opinions of what's right. And especially when we get into difficult areas, we have different opinions on what matters most. The person who robs the bank, on some level, believes they're doing the right thing. Now, maybe they're selfish. Maybe they feel like the world has wronged them. But they believe they're doing the right thing. Maybe not everyone, but most. And that can be a really hard pill for people to swallow because our opinions on how to act in certain situations can be so dramatically different. How can I think that doing this thing is the right thing to do, and you think that this other thing is the right thing to do, and they're completely different actions? And this is what leads to a lot of people pointing at someone else and saying, oh, well, they're obviously X, right? Something dismissive. They're a psychopath, they're a sociopath, they're crazy, they're a narcissist. Those conditions do exist, but not at the levels that people like to suggest that they are. It's simply a different way of looking at the world. Jenny's got a great example here. Thanos believed he was doing the right thing. He did. There was sacrifice in there. So what do we do with that? Well, I think there's two things. We attempt to understand and we offer compassion. It doesn't mean that we don't take action. You know, this is where people get really reductionist and we tend to go to something disastrous and catastrophic, you know, Holocaust stuff, which, you know, given that we're talking about Anne Frank today, is an appropriate extension of the conversation. Wouldn't you, if you had a time machine and all this, it's easy to look in hindsight and find clarity. Hindsight's 20/20. We know that. It's really difficult in the moment to watch incremental anything and stand up. It requires something big. It requires a breaking point. It requires momentum. Frank says, our intentions don't determine where we end up in life. It's the path we choose. The principle of the path. Yeah. And this is why my philosophy, and I say this all the time, do what you can with what you have where you are. I'm sure for all of us on an almost daily basis, we do something that we think is the right thing that somebody around us just cannot understand how we made that choice. To me, that's one of the better parts of the world, that we have these different opinions. We talk about it in the context of martial arts, that we've got all these different techniques and these movements, these philosophies. And the more we experiment with them and we apply them against each other, the more we can figure out what seems sensible given certain situations. We're really doing that perpetually just in life. I did this before, that didn't work. Let me try this now. Oh, that works better. Oh, I see this person over here doing this. I'm going to try that next time. I read this book. I watched this show. I listened to this podcast that suggested I could try it this way. Right? Constant experimentation, like our episode last week. Number 2. Where there's hope, there's life. It fills us with fresh courage and makes us strong again. One of the best lessons I was given in the very early days of martial arts was that the most dangerous person is someone with nothing to lose. And I've thought about that in a slightly different way of late. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I had this observation, and it started in a really weird way. I saw this statistic quoted that 4% of people thought that they could fight a bear and win, a grizzly bear, I think it was, which is ridiculous. But what is it about a grizzly bear that makes them so intimidating, so formidable? Is it their size and their strength? Yes, but it's also their ferocity. Well, most animals, when they get cornered, when they have nothing to lose, they become really fierce. Spun from chihuahuas. There's no objective reason for someone to run away and be fearful of a small dog or a cat or a squirrel or, I don't know, a woodchuck. Some 20-pound animal is not going to defeat you, but they're fierce. They just go 0 to 60. There's no compromise in there. And it's something that most of us don't know how to do. But when pushed far enough, people can become quite dangerous. Nothing to lose. And I think a lot of what we see in the world that we dislike, it is an example of people having nothing to lose. Now, I'm not going to tie that back to politics. You can choose to extend it in whatever way you want. But there are people who feel like they're backed into a corner every day, and they feel like they have nothing to lose. And their actions or reactions can be really dramatic and scary. Wipe my nose again. I hope you're never in a situation where you feel like you have nothing to lose. But if you are, I hope you'll put it all out on the table. Whatever you've got. If it's a violent situation, bite, claw, stomp, squish, punch, elbow, all of it. All of it's valid. There's no wrong choice. Just don't stand there. Do anything. Last one. What's the last one today? Everyone has inside of him a piece of good news. The good news is that you don't know how great you can be, how much you can love, what you can accomplish, and what your potential is. We all have greatness. We are all capable, quite capable of greatness. Many of us have done great things, maybe just for a moment, a time when we so grossly exceeded what we thought we were capable of. How do you experience that greatness? You got to stretch yourself. Greatness doesn't come from your comfort zone. No one ever experienced greatness sitting on the couch, eating pretzels, watching TV. I enjoy sitting on the couch, eating pretzels and watching TV. I'm quite fond of pretzels. But that's not where greatness happens. That's not where life purpose happens. That's not where you leave the world a better place. It always comes from a place of discomfort, a place where you didn't quite know if you could pull it off, but you found a way. I'm not talking necessarily the backed into a corner, nothing to lose, but it's closer to that than it is to the pretzels on the couch. And for most of us, we don't put ourselves in those situations. So we don't really find out how much greatness is inside of us or where that greatness comes in. We don't often stretch. We don't reach. We don't try. But we should, because we deserve it and the people around us deserve it and the world deserves it. What would the world look like if everyone found their greatness? Can you imagine that? If you think about progress, whatever progress means to you, how much faster would we progress? We're progressing pretty fast. In fact, from year to year, it's almost scary how much changes if you really look into it. But it would be month to month. I think we'd be moving 10 times faster if everyone was embracing their greatness. Maybe even more, maybe 100 times. Because for every person that is great right now, how many people are not? How many people are sitting on the couch eating pretzels? And if that's what you want, that's fine. I'm not going to say you can't or shouldn't. But I don't understand it. Gad says, that's one of the biggest lessons I took from ninjutsu. Commitment to the action. Follow through. If you hesitate, you will fail. So true. My nose is running. It's a good thing I'm going back to bed, because I would not be able to deal with this. And yes, you are, Frank. So, don't be afraid. Don't let fear stop you. It's not worth it. You've got more, and you owe it to yourself to be more. Whatever that means to you. I bet many of you out there have some thoughts on what that means. Do it. Don't wait. Don't delay. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you find something today that makes you a little uncomfortable and you embrace it and you charge forward and you crush it. And I hope that gives you the inspiration to continue doing that. Whatever it is. Even if you think it's small. Even if it's small to everyone else. I don't care. I hope that for you. Thank you. Rebecca says, I hope you feel better. I will. It's at the end. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. I hope that you will continue to be supportive in all the ways that you can, because I want to continue doing what we're doing. And I thank all of you for your continued support, whether you're a Patreon contributor or you share the show or you do something else. Thank you for your support. I'm going to see you back here tomorrow. My eyes are starting to water now, so it's time. And I thank you for spending some time with me this morning. Take care, everybody. Peace.